Hi there, this is Christian Dye from Latitude West Financial, and we are talking about the best real estate deals in Alberta for 2022. Our guest speaker is Brendan Skilton-Douglas from Ashton Fisher Real Estate. We're going to be talking about market outlook in Alberta, what's going on out there. We're going to talk about Brendan's, backyard off-market deals in Edmonton, and then we're going to talk about some strategic partnership opportunities. So save your questions till the end, and we'd be happy to answer them. And keep your mic and videos just off camera and on mute. So one quick disclaimer is that the information given today is to not promote the buying or not buying of any real estate. We're actually just doing this for educational purposes only. We advise that you, of course, you do your own research and work with a professional. So we're going to jump right into it. And my first question over here is going to be, what is the market outlook for Alberta currently? So Brendan, as you know, I'm in BC. I work with clients all across Canada, but you are in Alberta. You are sort of right in the heart of what is going on. So tell us, what is going on there right now?
What is going on here right now in the market? I love that question because I get super fired up. The market in Alberta, long story short, I'll get to the punchline. Now's been probably one of the best times in the last 20 years to start buying, 16 years to start buying real estate. There's a lot of stuff going on. The major one is that home prices here haven't moved much at all in the last 10 years. We're buying houses now today for at the same or cheaper than people have bought them for 10, 12 years ago. It has been a very long slump market after the 2008 real estate crash, 2014, 15 oil crash. There's obviously COVID and lots of people have been really scared of Alberta. And it's been a very slumpy market with the average home price staying completely stagnant for the last 10 years. And in the last 4 or 6 months, we've seen some of the biggest appreciation that Edmonton's seen in 12 to 14 years. Finally, that curve we have evolved from the slump market back into the beginning of a recovery market. I know you can see the interest rates going up and the curve is changing, and it's really exciting to see stuff flowing in that direction now.
Tell me some of the things that are pushing it up. What are some of the things that are pushing the market up?
Sure. So I have a list here. I'm going to touch really high level on them. We're not going to get into super in depth. I'm going to let you do your own research, but this is what I see. I'm in the trenches every day. We're writing offers every day. I work with real estate investors every day. This is what I'm seeing. First off, oil prices are up. Edmonton, Alberta is an oil province, and oil prices are the highest they've been in a long time. There's lots of new projects on the books, and the oil industry is growing. I know it's on a transition toward, that hybrid era, that electric era, alternate energy, but that's a long-term thing, and oil is great right now, and whatever's happening overseas right now is only kind of fueling that surgence in oil. LRTs, there's LRTs being built all over Edmonton. Some are brand new, some are mid-construction, some are on the books to plan, and they've been talking about a tube train connecting Edmonton, Red Deer, and Calgary for 10 years now, and it's getting closer and closer to connecting all of Alberta. There's lithium deposits. They're finding cell phone battery lithium deposits in the province, which is only going to be another energy source. And I don't hold me to this spec, but it's something like the second largest lithium deposit they found in the world or something. That's really big news. Immigration is at an all-time high. We are the most domestically immigrated province in the country, and also we're the second most out of country, just because the wages are high, the cost of living is low. And Canada is a wonderful place to be. Immigration here is huge. There's a housing shortage. The supply and demand have never been skewed in what they are now. There is a demand for housing. Buyers can't buy housing, and so it's driving the prices up. And if you can bring quality products to the market, there's a huge demand for them right now. Edmonton and then Calgary have the lowest average home income price out of the 6 biggest cities. There's Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary, and then Edmonton. And this kind of great, what everyone keeps talking about, this equalization or whatever, like it'll slow down Calgary Vancouver and Toronto because they're in the lead. But like Edmonton is the cheapest out of the 6 biggest cities has nowhere to go but up to catch up to these things. The city plan, the city has a 40-year plan called 1 million more, where they're trying to double the population. The city's mandate is to densify and encourage all that immigration from the world and Canada. Like I mentioned, we're getting back into that recovery market. That's a big one. Blatchford is the old airport in the center of town. It has 580 something acres that is sited to be all redeveloped. They're already building and sold and have sold some townhouses on the west, and they're moving across. It's right in the center of town, above downtown. There's a huge development. And the expanding outskirts, Ellerslie, Leduc, close to the airport, Sherwood Park and Stony Plain are growing because of this, Zoom era. People can get out of the city a little bit more. Fort Saskatchewan has a massive, what is it? I want to say Amazon, big new factory up there. I think I'm wrong on that. But anyways, the outskirts are growing as well. And that's my list of 10 things off the top of my head that are fueling the Alberta real estate market.
Yeah, I know, like full disclosure, I think one of the things that I want to add in there is that in my practice, I've always been looking for real estate deals across Canada. Yeah. Vancouver's gotten very, very expensive, very hard to find a good deal off a 20% down payment. So you got guys out of Toronto, Ontario, and guys out of BC, and we're now all looking at Alberta. And full disclosure, I bought 2 places last year in Alberta, and now you have other clients who've been buying places in Alberta. Yeah. So on top of your local market, you have other people now looking. And when you have an increase in demand with limited supply, what does that do to prices? It's going to go up. And is it going anywhere? I will continue to keep looking because I care about cap rates. I care about cash flow, as do other investors. So the other thing, and then I kind of want to segregate the whole Calgary and Edmonton. I've always known that if you want to see what's happening with Edmonton, just look what happened at Calgary 6 months ago. There's kind of this, and 6 months ago, Calgary, holy cow, on fire, prices really, really high. You've already experienced that, but they're continuing, it's sort of continuing on that path. So I do, hold by exactly what you're saying. I think it's a great market to get some exposure to. If you're a diversified investor and you're out of province now, taking a look at Alberta is absolutely one of the ways to go.
Yeah, I love your last point there that I didn't even put in there, that like it's the cheapest houses for the most rent. It's the cash flow capital. Like lots of people are buying stuff here, and it's fueling that supply.
Yeah, like for
the market. I've been working here for like 8 years. And it's just really exciting to just see all of a sudden this fire being lit now. It's really exciting to see this stuff going on.
Yeah, and based off of some of the analysis that we've done, this is a really, really good summary of a real estate market. And this over here is Edmonton, Calgary specific. And if you were to describe it as a boom, a slump, or recovery, right now it's a recovery. And then we've dissected it here by, what is the strategy? Buy and hold, good, whether you're at the beginning, the middle, or at the end of the recovery. Rent to own, good, optimal. If at the end, a little bit tricky. Fix and flip, possible if we're at the beginning of the cycle, good if we're at the middle, and then good at the end. I think, but all signs of it really show, and this is the one I personally like. If you're getting a smoking good deal, maybe a fix and flip, and you're going to talk about that in a little bit. But if it's a good quality product and you're getting good rents, why flip it? Rent it out. Hold on to it as long as you possibly can, because the guarantee is the rents that you're getting right now. The cherry on the cake and the bonus is the capital appreciation. We've already talked about what will cause a market to capital appreciate. All the reasons, the growth, the GDP, the immigration. One of the things that we should have mentioned is that it's got one of the highest income to housing.
Income to home prices.
Vancouver is one of the worst. Vancouver is one of the worst. And the thing is, the average income in Alberta is higher than the average income in BC. Yet our housing prices are what, 4 times the cost? So I think as an investor, absolutely, it's something to look at, and I wanted
you're being able to buy these like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condos for like $100,000 or like a full house and a garage for like 250.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's like completely unheard of
yeah,
here in our neck of the woods. But I think one of the reasons why to work with a person like you is because you know the city so well, and you can't just have one big paintbrush to paint a whole city. It's the different pockets, it's different areas that are going to show the greatest amount of growth, and having somebody who's sort of on the ground floor of knowing not only what's happening in the city now, but what's going to happen in the city in the future is the reason why we want to pair up with someone like yourself, Brandon. Tell us a little bit about this map and about your views of it.
sure. So this is the Edmonton City Plan. This is public information. Why this holds a lot of weight, this map, because I used to work for the government, and when I used to work for the government of Fort McMurray, the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, I was involved in them building their city plan. It was a big deal. They spent a lot of money, and all the departments have to buy into it. It was a 2.5-year process. There was public engagements to the max. It was a big deal because the whole city buy into it for the next however long they've set out in the city plan. This is Edmonton City Plan. It's called 1 million more. Their whole mandate is to turn 1 million people into 2 million people over the next 40 years, 250,000 people per decade. This map is one of the main ones that they've identified as major nodes, secondary nodes, primary corridors, and areas that they're investing. Some of those red lines follow the new LRTs. Some of them are primary corridors. That one dot in the middle, the highest dot in the middle, not the highest dot to the upright, but that middle, that's Blatchford. That's that old airport, 580 hectare development I was talking about. But like, these are the type of things that I use and I see while I'm elbows deep in the trenches every day, matching up all these things so that when there is something that I bring up and I say, this is a deal, this is one of the many lists of things and factors that we think about when determining the future profitability of these real estate deals.
No, that sounds great. And that whole idea of people wanting a deal, oftentimes that's where you make most of your money. You get something that's valued at 500,000, but you're able to pick it up for 350, add 30K of renos into it, and that you already know the house right next door is selling for 500,000. You already know that the deal has been had. You don't have to speculate. I hope the capital appreciates by 100 grand in the next 3 years. You already know it has.
Yeah.
And I think I want to talk about our next question, and that's this idea of off-market deals. So everybody can go on the MLS and realtor.ca, and we can look at all these properties, but then we hear about these off-market deals, these pocket sales. And I want to hear about what you and your practice does regarding getting off-market deals for clients.
Okay, no problem. This is what I do best. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
First off, I just want to build off something you said. You make money on the buy. Everyone knows that. How do you make money? You make money on the buy. That's how you know you already won on day one walking into that equity. You've already made 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 of equity if you buy right. And so in the last 7.5 years while I've been working here in Edmonton, the market's been stale. And so what I've been doing is evolving my skills to find rent-to-owns, flips, BRRRRs, rentals, all this stuff that makes sense. And for the past, when we haven't been able to account for, these 10, 15% annual appreciation numbers, I've grown the business to learn how to dig deep and get to these good deals. Okay. So how do we find off-market deals in Alberta? The answer is a wholesaler or wholesalers. They're the ones scouring the streets. They're the ones doing mass marketing. They're the one writing tons of offers. They're the ones that work with all the real estate investors. They're the ones that talk to these sellers directly and scour the streets to find these things, working with a wholesaler and or wholesalers to find these exclusive kind of backdoor deals. Christian, is this a good spot to talk about what wholesaling is?
Yes, I think so, because I know some people listening might not even understand what does wholesaling even mean.
Sure, it's complicated, but it's a relatively simple concept. So we do our mass marketing and we go meet John Smith, who's got a house with broken windows or something, and and we find him through our organic marketing. He calls us, we write him a no obligation offer. We meet, we see if it's a fit, we talk through it. And if it's a fit and he needs to solve a problem, then we get a purchase agreement from John Smith to sell to us. That gives us legal interest in that property and a physical piece of paper to prove that under ABC terms, this house can be sold as such. So now what we do is we promote that on our newsletter, Deal Alerts, and we show people that this is available. And now these discounted deals are only listed there. They're always discounted because it's our business. And I've been operating for the past like however many years where how I make my money is people pay me to show them what to buy because it's discounted. So we find these discounted opportunities and we put them out there, and then people throw a little bit of money at me to go away so that they can take over and earn that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 of equity on the buy and take off with their profits, their flip, with their project, with whatever they want to do. And they found that off-market story directly from us.
Now, it's amazing. Like, to give you an idea of what an off-market deal might be, like, let's not kid ourselves. It's a bit of work, okay? So this is one that's already passed over here. So this was out in Edmonton. I estimated that it should be able to be purchased for around 200,000. It needed probably 50,000 renovations, but it was really great. And this was kind of my play that I was showing clients. So I was showing this to clients. And I felt that the play was, this is ideal for students. Why? Because it was close to Nate, and it had 4 bedrooms. The value of the property itself was probably in that neighborhood between 300 and 365 comparable if the renovations went into it. So you do the math. But one of the things that you need is you need a team, especially if you're out of province. And the team is, okay, well, who's going to fix it? Who's going to property manage it? Who's going to, check this place out? Do I got to fly out there multiple times? So this one's already passed, but this is an example of a off-market deal. And Brendan, do you have something to say here?
Yeah, I want to chime in about these off-market deals and a little bit more about 2 things. Just the quick pros and cons of working with a wholesaler and getting these deals, and I also want to talk about a little bit more about how we're actually ensuring that these are deals, because you got to do your own diligence. So just some reality of working with wholesalers and getting these off-market deals. Pros and cons. Okay, I'm going to start with cons. Sometimes these people are working with us because they don't want people in their house. So we get, we got to have eyes on the project. Sometimes we need a contractor to look at it, but this isn't an open house. This isn't stop by on Saturday and kick the tires and la-di-da. If we're going into the house, it's almost the last piece of due diligence. So sometimes that last piece of diligence can be a little bit of a difficult hurdle if you're out of town working with a wholesaler. Another thing is what I'm finding is, to get these deals, you need to be ready. You need to have financing ready, your contractor ready. You need to know your numbers. You need to be able to determine whether this is a deal for you or not within a matter of a few days, because they come up and they're good deals and they go fast, and the ones who get them are the ones who pull the trigger. And you still do need to do your own due diligence. Of course, this is for education purposes, but you do need to do your own due diligence and not just blindly trust a wholesaler from halfway across the country. That relationship has to be there. Okay, those are some of the challenges, but some of the pros are obviously you're going to get the best deal. Ask anybody who's worked with a wholesaler before and on the MLS. You're going to get smoking deals. Sometimes they're just like outrageously good, $100,000 below equity. Another pro is there's no competition. This isn't MLS. You're not going to be like bidding against 10 other offers and hoping for the best, and it's not going to go over asking price. Most people have a competitive price, first come, first serve, and there's normally a small handful of people that are going after that one deal, and the competition is not there because these are exclusive deals. Another pro is there's no marketing. Like, we're doing all the marketing. We write up all the favorable terms, and we just basically silver platter these deals once they're all written up. You're getting the back door to these discounts. And of course, I got to say again, the pro to working with wholesalers is that deep discount. Now, I know I'm going on, but four ways that we ensuring that these are deals. Like these are deals. One is we're doing mass marketing, thousands and thousands of marketing pieces, multiple offers every week. We're basically sifting through all the stuff in real time. We're working with motivated sellers. We have systems to find out who these motivated sellers are. They have a problem in their life. They have a speed to work with. Another way we're fine, and the top three are the 3 Ds if you haven't heard them before, but death, divorce, and downsizing. You know, my parents passed away and now we have this house. The family's outgrown and we've all moved out. We need to get rid of this thing that nobody seems to care about. And downsizing. A lot of baby boomers are moving into smaller places because they don't have the physical ability to manage these yards anymore. That's another motivated reason for sellers to be motivated to give some favorable terms on the offer to help them out. An obvious one is the condition of the house. Sometimes there's just problems with the house that the seller doesn't want to deal with, and we get a discount because of some condition that we need to take on for them when we take over. And the terms, almost all the terms in the offer to purchase are in the favor of the seller, except the price. We give them everything they want. We give them a deposit. We give them their date. We give them the as is. We'll take over this. No, you know, we don't have to have a parade through here. No work, no lawyer fees. We give them all the terms they want for an aggressive price. And if it's a fit, that's fantastic. Those are a bunch of ways that we're ensuring that these off-market deals that come up to Christian and to myself are on the Deal Alert newsletters are truly discounted good deals.
Yeah, and I find that, you know, Brendan, you're in the front lines in the Edmonton market.
Oh yeah, big time.
And you're the one who's able to work with myself to have these deals. I sort of feel I'm that second layer when I'm working with a client when they say, okay, this thing I've just seen, or I've seen, let's say 10 of them, but now you use a guy like me to kind of help to filter them, to kind of say, okay, let's see if this is feasible. Let's see if this makes sense over here. And that's
totally. And you know your clients, you know the hole they're trying to fit. You know the gap they're trying to fit in their life. And then when you can sift through these deals across Canada through guys like me all over the place, you can kind of determine, you know, like the teamwork there really can align some stars for some wicked real estate profits.
Yeah, absolutely. And we tease you over here showing you something that has already been gone. But
sold.
Yeah, but this one over here is still a current one going on.
Totally.
And this one over here, you know, it could be the BRRRR strategy, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, or it could be a flip. It's going to take work, though. Obviously, it's going to take some work to get it to that. Except if you know, if maybe if you already are there and you have a team or you're able to do the work yourself, this could be a great opportunity. But if you don't, and if you're just a pure investor, but you like the idea behind this, then it's all about the numbers. What are the numbers? What are the team? What is it going to cost me? I personally am going through something like this myself here in the Fraser Valley out in Abbotsford. You know, just doing some renos in an existing home, turning it into 2 suites. And I just want to know, what are the numbers? Is it worth more to me as 2 suites as 1 suite? Should I do the kitchen or not do the kitchen? Should I add a bedroom or not add the bedroom? And that's exactly what would happen with this. We have to see where's the most bang for our rehab dollar as well. This particular property over here, if anyone happened to be interested, we'll have our contact information at the end, and then we could explore it a little bit more.
Yeah, I just want to add to that a little bit. This deal is live. There are a couple showings going on Wednesday. I have access or whatever, and somebody is going to take this deal and somebody is going to make some money on it. You can see the margins there are great. Also, today and in the past, there's 2 other deals. The next one, like sneak peek into the newsletter Deal Alert. There's another, like I said, there's a 3-bedroom townhouse in about a C neighborhood, but it's coming online for like under $100,000. Like it's pretty hard to go wrong. Like, you know, it's probably worth 140, you know, but that cheap, like with the rent, like it's a no-brainer. There's also we also have a house with a legal suite. It's been upgraded, so it's a turnkey rental, and it's just you know the 1% rule, where you want like as much rent as it is worth. It's about 40,000 under value, leased up, turnkey, renting well. All these are real deals that are coming up and coming out on our newsletter. This one is live, and 2 will be coming out on that. those
Yeah.
emails.
No. So let's transition and talk about some strategic partnership opportunities. So I know that with yourself, Brendan, tell us, how can people get involved with sort of a strategic partnership with some of the things that you do?
Cool. So this is like, I don't know where to start, because this is something that I'm really excited about, and this is like my future. So forgive me if I start talking fast about this and get all fired up. So I'm a wholesaler. That's how I make my income. That's how I provide other people with value to make sure I can make money and pay for my lifestyle. On the side, I'm also a real estate investor. Of course, I'm a real estate investor. Like, duh, right? So I've been doing all kinds of different strategies, but most people know about the joint venture strategy. That's a good way for money partners and working partners to collaborate and get above average returns for money, for an expert using their expertise to buy cheaper and sell for higher in the real estate. That's not kind of a new concept, I'm going to assume, for most people on the webinar here. The joint venture strategy works very, very well for both parties. But what I've kind of done is I haven't invented a new strategy, but I found a combination of items and strategies that is working and using all the things in the current environment right now for maximum profits, the lowest hanging fruits for maximum profits. It's like two strategies that are like tailored to the Edmonton market right now, and they're working quite well. And we got 5 on the board, and we're going for 10. So what I'm talking about, I nickname it the surfing strategy. It's just a fun word because, like I said, we're kind of aligning all the things in the environment, all the ingredients to ride this wave and cruise, like, into the future profits. It's a way where we can take advantage of what nobody's buying in the market and turn it into like a free multifamily building. This is where my future is coming. This is where I'm really, you're not going to see me in 10 more years, because I'm going to be having a big gut with like gaudy rings down in my all-inclusive, right? But so what we're doing is we're combining a buy and hold with a redevelopment. That's it. We're just combining a buy and hold with a redevelopment. When people are buying these deals right now to make money, they are generally doing one of two things. They're buying these crappy houses to tear down and rebuild, or they're buying a house that they can rehab. They're forcing equity through a tear down or a rehab. Okay, so what's happening is we're finding a lot of these baby boomer bungalows that are old, and they're not crappy houses. They're old, small, kind of not desirable houses, but they're not in bad shape. So we can't get them cheap enough to just doze them and rebuild, because there's a lot of fees there, and you can't just give land value and there's a perfect good house. But flippers don't want to buy these things because they're 800 square foot, like 2-bedroom houses. So the flippers don't want to buy them. So when we find that kind of in between a house, they're running roughly 230 to about 280,000 bucks, depending on the neighborhood. And all we're doing is making sure that there's big land, proper zoning in a good neighborhood with future projections. And we're buying these things for 20% down and a mortgage, which is another ingredient, because mortgage rates are probably never going to be as low as they are right now for the rest of my real estate investing career. And we're locking these babies up as cash flowing buy and holds. Okay, worst case scenario, there's no appreciation or whatever. You get all the profits and benefits of the profit centers, the 7 profit centers of owning a buy and hold. And then after that buy and hold, the equity has grown and the account has grown enough that we can borrow external cash without financing, redevelop, throw commercial financing to pay back that cash. And now me and partner are owning a new multifamily, densified, medium density building on these pieces of land that'll be brand new and leased up in about 7 years from now. In 7 years, they'll be brand new, which will give us like a nice 5, 10, 20-year life cycle on a brand new build. So essentially, with 20% down in a mortgage on something that's worth $250,000, $270,000 right now, we're leveraging that into new multifamilies within 5-ish years.
Yeah, I think this is like such a great option for that person who wants to park money, but really wants to partner with someone so they're more hands off.
Totally.
Let the professionals do what they do best, and then and I know a lot of people who want to get involved, but they're not exactly sure. And I think especially if people got to be honest with themselves. If they say, yeah, I want to invest in real estate, and I've been hearing a lot of people making money in real estate, but I want to do it completely on my own. You catch up with them 3 years later, they've done nothing. They've done nothing because they don't have the time, they don't have the expertise, or maybe they're just not confident enough to do things on their own, or they don't want to deal with tenants and rehab. You got to consider joint venture with people who are doing it right. Meet with a guy like Brendan and then go through the pro forma to say, well, what's my ROI? And then when you look at it, you said, that's the ROI I was trying to get to when I was trying to do it myself
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Leverage, me or somebody else, the working partner model, leverage somebody with better systems than you to increase security and get a higher return. And when you do look at the returns, like there's more than enough profit to make sure everyone's getting an above average return. It's not a new model, right? We didn't invent this working partner money partner model. It's what people have been doing for a long time because it works.
No, absolutely.
So there I am. There I am.
Yeah.
Christian's going to tell you to reach out to me. It's all about
Absolutely.
just having no obligation discovery meetings, sitting down, having a super casual chat, and just having exactly that, a discovery meeting. If it's a fit,
Yeah.
awesome. If
If
not,
it
worst
really,
case scenario, you've learned a thing or two, right?
exactly. You're checking to see if there's a fit. So I'm going to show this again at the end.
Yeah,
But if you want to reach out to Brendan, talk to him about some of the things that he's doing, especially if you're interested in the Edmonton market, you should reach out.
totally.
So what I want to do is I want to talk about partnerships with what clients do with me. Some people understand what I do and some people are unfamiliar. So my business model, more or less, is imagine if you had a financial advisor, but they were real estate focused. That's exactly what we do. So what is all the traditional things that a financial advisor should be doing? Am I on track for retirement? Do I have enough insurance? What is my cash flow like? Am I meeting the goals? All the traditional things of financial planning, that is what we do. But the left-hand side of the quadrant is, what we have licenses for, the insurance and the investments. The right-hand side of the quadrant is probably what makes us a little bit more unique. The bottom right-hand side of the quadrant is what makes us incredibly unique. And that is, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about integrating the real estate you already have. Should I leverage against it to buy more? Should I sell some stocks to buy more? Or should I just hold what I have? And then it's also a matter of, should I set up a holding company? Should I set up a trust? Should I, be flowing my assets through the holding company in order to pass them on? Those are all of the different things that a good financial advisor will do. But a real estate focused financial advisor will also be encouraging that you buy more and also be showing you what's the next thing to buy. And so when you think of a traditional financial advisor, you said, I just had a meeting with my advisor. They think I should put more money into equities, or they think I put more money into, Apple or into Amazon. Now imagine those meetings where they're saying, they're showing me a really good multi-unit over here in Calgary, or they're showing me this great, undervalued property in Edmonton, or they're showing me, some rehab that we could do out here in BC. That's essentially what our business model is. We have
I just want to chime in and add, like, that's
yeah.
why I was excited to jump on here today with you, man, because like that is a very nichey thing, and most financial advisors do the same thing all the other financial advisors do. And when we started talking, and you told me you're a financial advisor that's like, interested and introducing their clients to the benefits of real estate through financial advising, I was like, oh, finally, like somebody that can have that puzzle piece in their arsenal.
Yeah, and I think the idea is because I myself am an investor, and if I myself am an investor, and
Yeah.
if I say 90% of my portfolio is real estate, then like-minded people would say, well, my portfolio looks like that as well, or I have only a 30% portfolio in RSPs, TFSAs, or you get somebody who's on the flip side who wants to be more like that. Then they said, well, what's the roadmap? How do I get there? So our process is very, very simple as well. We start with a discovery meeting, and there's no obligation. It's just really seeing if there's a fit. It's just us checking out to see, with what you're looking for, is it something I could provide? And then I could explain and show you more samples of the things that me and my clients are doing, as well as what the reporting looks like, all the traditional financial planning reporting. But if we did decide to work together, then after that discovery, we'd move on to, okay, let's do some planning. So we call it navigation. Here are your options for your next purchase. Here are some places that I'm really liking for you. Here, you have an $800,000 budget that you're qualified for on the mortgage. Let's take a look at the different things that you're finding. You might say, Christian, I found two things. I want you and your team to analyze them. And then I said, and here's 3 things me and my team have found. Now we have a basket of things to look at to see what is your next best move. We
That's so
implement the
powerful.
strategy. Yeah, we implement the strategy, and then we have these periodic meetings. Now, the periodic meetings are fantastic because it's now us getting together periodically to say, okay, what is it that, how is the planning going? How is your real estate doing? Do you have any questions for me? And then a lot of our clients said, okay, I'm now, it's a few months later, that one purchase I've made, I'm ready for the next one. So we find is that people start making multiple purchases over a few years, as opposed to one every 5 years when you try to do it on your own. What will the analysis look like? It'll be us figuring out cap rates, figuring out ROIs, figuring out if there is any cash flow on it, figuring out what your total investment's going to be. And then we do a really, really in-depth analysis as to what is the ROI you're going to get and how does this compare if you were to just leave them in your stock portfolio. If you're leaving an RSP, some people are like, should I remove from my RSPs or my TFSAs to buy another piece of real estate? Well, we could model to say, well, let's play out what happens if you keep it in based off of your, let's say, 6 to 8% return. And let's take a look at what it looks like if we take it out and we get this cash flowing piece of real estate. And then they could make a more informed decision as to what they're going to do. We do something else really, really fancy called a Monte Carlo analysis. And that helps us to get a probability. You might say, Christian, I have these 2 pieces of real estate, but they're in 2 completely different markets, 2 different cap rates, 2 different ROIs, and the rate of growth is completely different. And one is a multi-unit, and the other one is this tiny little thing. But I'm not sure which one is the better next move. We could do a Monte Carlo analysis, which helps us to figure out the probability of which one is the better move. And, it depends on what your budget is. Maybe you're looking for a multi-unit. Maybe you're looking for something as simple as a 2 suites on a house. Maybe it's something, like a very, very inexpensive condo. So, and these are in different pockets, in different areas of areas that we like. It could be here in BC, could be in Ontario, could be in Alberta, but we do have a team of people. We are looking at different things. And that's exactly what real estate clients need. They need someone who is a real estate focused financial advisor. And if that's something that you think that you might need, then you want to connect with us. And what we will do is show, what does it look like if you buy that second property? What will it look like in retirement? What will your assets be? What will your cash flow be? What will your debt be? What does it look like if we just left it in stocks? And how can we compare this? And what does it look like if we get 3 properties instead of 2? And we build a strategy over time. So imagine everything that you want from your financial advisor, but you're not quite getting right now. That is what me and my team are able to do. And then we sort of discuss, well, what are the fees, Christian? What does the process look like? How does it all work? The quick answer is it all depends. How long are we working together? How often are we getting together? What am I showing you? What am I analyzing for you? The easiest thing is to just take a discovery meeting. That would be the easiest thing. Then we'll get to answer all of those questions. So what I want to do is I kind of, it's getting late and I don't want to keep people too long. Now, if you have a question, now's the time to put it in the chat. I will moderate, throw your questions in the chat. Once again, if you wanted to connect with myself, the best way to do it is info@latitude-west.ca, and my assistant will connect us and set up a time for us to talk. If you wanted to connect with Brendan, it would be at brendan@ashtonfisher.ca, or you could try him.
Call me. That's this number right there.
There you go. So like I said, if you had a question, now's the time to ask. But Brendan, I'm going to start off with the first question for you.
Sure.
And it is, most of the investors that you're working with right now, what do you see them investing in?
Yeah. What do I see the investors investing in? We see a lot, like just some context, like what is it, 2022, 2021, we provided 18 off-market deals to real estate investors. This year, we're at 11. So that's 30 deals in the last year and a half. There's a couple things really, really high level. A lot of people are buying what I call these baby boomer bungalows. They have great square footage. They have good construction. and they're a good setup with a rear entrance to put a suite in. So buying single family house for a very competitive price, you know, for these old houses that can be rehabbed, they're installing a suite, and the after repair value is great. The cash flow is fantastic, and there's large demographic for these rental properties. That's one that I see a lot. Just recently, people have been getting back into flips. It used to have been kind of protected for the real pros because the market was difficult, but now the market's a little bit more favorable. So flips are picking up again. And another one is redevelopments. A lot of these old houses are small houses on big pieces of land, like big pieces of land. Like we're talking like 800 square meters, and there's like an 800 square foot house on these big pieces of land. So people are subdividing and building two houses, or even if it's a corner lot, you can turn a single property into four because you can put the address from the skinny side to the wide side, and that's a really good way to maximize units, you know, pack them and stack them. If you can go from a single house to a fourplex with legal suites and all, now you're going from 1 to 8 units for the right corner lot. So suiting single baby boomer bungalows is very popular. Flips are becoming a lot more popular because the data is supporting the sales and the profits, and a lot of redevelopments to tie into that city plans of densification. That's what I'm seeing most of. I know that's general, but that's what I'm seeing almost everybody doing.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of seeing something similar. I think the single family house where you could either has a suite or you could put a suite in, that's probably really popular. I know in Calgary, those things are so popular that that's where they're getting all that over asking. And that was the thing I was saying, you know, 12 months ago, people should be looking at. Several of my clients, of course, got into it, and then the market went crazy over the summer, and they're all got big smiles on their faces.
Yeah, nice.
Out here in BC in the Fraser Valley, there are people that are now kind of saying, you know, it's really, really hard to cash flow off of a 20% down payment. It's possible, but it's just hard. But now we're getting a little bit more creative and taking a look at that house and seeing what the frontage is and seeing if we could split it into two, kind of what you're doing as well. You get that brand new house, brand new duplex, put two on each side, and then the rents and the cash flow. Because the one thing about here in BC, our rents are so high that even though our housing prices are really high, it can support it. But you don't want to pull that trigger unless, of course, you're working with someone who's kind of already done the math for you. So sort of says, does this make sense, you know, in order to take on such a large endeavor? Something else that I'm seeing a lot of is people aren't so scared of commercial anymore. 5 units or above, you definitely want to be working with the right team in order to look for that, because they're getting even harder to find now.
They're getting super hard to find. Over here in Alberta, I'm hearing 10 to 20 offers. And when I'm trying to look up comps and comparable properties that have sold, there's not many.
Yeah.
There's the supply is super low and the demand is just insane. So
Yeah.
like those off market ones, or in my mind, this is why I'm trying to just build them from scratch. Instead of fight my way in there, I'm just going to build brand new ones.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing about me and my team, we're a little bit more creative. I know some people are kind of uncomfortable going out of province, but they say, Christian, I want the best deal in province. We're even opening up to the idea of, you know, buying something, turning it into Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Taking things and taking a look as to corporate rentals, and people don't really understand that as well, and just being a lot more creative, because we're trying to generate more cash flow based off of the product that's available. In Edmonton, it's still possible. Calgary is still possible, but in BC, it's a lot trickier to put 20% down payment and get somebody cash flow.
Oh yeah, 20% down, you can buy a whole house here cash.
Exactly. But so what I want to do, like I said, I want to echo how to get in touch with us. If anyone does want to get in touch, once again, info@latitude-west.ca. Let's start with a nice discovery meeting. And if you want to get in touch with Brendan, Brendan at ashtonfisher.ca.
Yeah, and you know what too, like I'll add a punchline at the end here. Like these off-market deals do get posted on an email list. And ashtonfisher.ca, there's a place to sign up for those deal alerts directly to your inbox, exclusively coming from there only. This is not public information. These deals go to the email list only. And you, Christian.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it helps when you said, okay, that's one area. I want to work in that one area, but it is how can I get access to these other areas in Ontario? What you want to do is you want to connect, and we want to talk about, what is it going to take to work together. So what I want to do is I want to end it off there. I want to thank everybody for coming. You've got our email addresses if you want to reach out to us. By all means, if you're listening to the recording right now, share it with somebody else, share it with a friend. And I hope you've given, you guys have gotten some great value. But Brendan, thank you again. We'll do
Yeah,
this
thanks,
again
Christian. It's been a
soon.
blast.
And for
I'm
everybody who's
excited about
attended,
this stuff. Love
yeah,
sharing.
yeah.